Another thing that we want to do is to have a small daily task list, right? So it's important to dedicate, say, half an hour, or maybe once you become more proficient at it, you can do it in 15 minutes. It really depends. I would set half an hour for it initially, at least. Take some tasks from your master task list and put them on your daily task list, or the task list, the list of to-dos for the next day or for this day if you plan it in the morning, right? So that's a small subset of tasks from your master task list. Now, for people in general, but even more strongly for people with inattentive ADHD, you might have a tendency to select too many things to put on that daily to-do list, daily task list. So really always err on the side of selecting fewer tasks rather than more tasks. And also one thing that often happens in ADHD is that people tend to underestimate how long it takes to complete each task, right? So that again contributes to the logic of erring on the side of safety and selecting fewer tasks rather than more tasks. So when you create your daily task list, it's important that you look at each of the tasks and break them down into subtasks. So if we, for example, have prepare for this Saturday's webinar, right? That could be one task. That's quite urgent now because Saturday is getting closer. So I've put it on my task list for today. I'm sitting here in the morning planning my day for the rest of the day, planning my schedule for the rest of the day. And that is quite a large task. Prepare for Saturday's webinar, right? So what I want to do with my daily task list is to break this down into manageable subtasks that I then can actually work on, right? If I just have this overarching high level task, I will get stuck. I can put it in my calendar, but at the moment that I'm supposed to start working on that task, I will probably procrastinate because it's just too high level of a task and it doesn't give me any specific indicators as to what specific practical task I need to get started with to get me going, right? So on my daily task list, I break this down, for example, into read chapter 1 of the ADHD CBT book that focuses on planning and organization. Write down 3 key take-home messages from this chapter that I read. Open a document in Canva or in PowerPoint to start my slides and make a title slide and an end slide. Create the structure of my presentation in the slides, right? So create a slide for point 1 that I identified before, point 2, and one slide for point 3 that I identified before. And then build the slide that goes with point 1, that's one subtask. Build a slide that goes with point 2, it's one subtask. And build a slide that goes with point 3, that's one subtask, right? So that's kind of, we started off with only one task from the master task list, but then when we actually break it down into actionable individual subtasks, we actually end up with quite a long list of subtasks, right? And it's even questionable to a degree whether I would be able to do all of them in one day. Maybe on some days, if I have a lot of time, if I have a lot of energy, yes, I could do that. But I can imagine kind of on quite a few different days, I wouldn't be able to focus that well to kind of include that many core tasks. So kind of think about that for yourself as well after you've broken it down. Can you indeed action all those tasks today, or does it feel like a bit much? If it feels even remotely like a bit much, put some back on the master task list, on the master task list, right? So don't feel like you have to do all of these subtasks just because they're on your daily task. Really narrow it down to it's a bit arbitrary because it really depends on the kind of the size of the tasks that you like working with. But I would say if you have 10 subtasks on your daily to-do list, that's too much. You really need to transfer some back to your master task list. Right, so say I have selected now 4 tasks that I'll be doing today, which is read the chapter on organization and focus in the book, and then distill 3 key points and start a Canva presentation with an introduction and an end slide. Those are my 3 tasks for today.